Welcome back to Eagle Discovery. North Korea is a land cloaked in secrecy, where the lives of ordinary citizens, especially women in the military, are controlled to extreme levels. Today, we'll uncover the hidden struggles these women face, from harsh training to rumors of pleasure squads, groups allegedly chosen to serve North Korea's elite in disturbing ways. This is a rare glimpse into a world where personal freedom is nearly non-existent, and survival means enduring the unimaginable. The harsh reality of daily life in North Korean military barracks. For women serving in North Korea's military, daily life in the barracks is marked by extreme discomfort and scarcity. Nights are spent on thin mattresses stuffed with rice hulls, which quickly absorb moisture and become cold and stiff. Sanitary conditions are poor, with limited access to electricity making basic amenities hard to come by. Until 2015, severe shortages meant that female soldiers had to resort to using bandages as makeshift sanitary pads, highlighting the lack of essential hygiene supplies. The challenges don't stop there. Meager food rations, often limited to simple soups or bowls of rice, cabbage, and salted radish, fail to provide adequate nutrition, leaving many women malnourished despite the high physical demands placed on them. Shower facilities are equally unpleasant, with cold water supplied through aging hoses, often bringing along frogs, snakes, and other small creatures through deteriorated pipes. It's a punishing environment, with constant physical exhaustion and minimal resources that push these women to their limits. Moreover, privacy is nearly non-existent, with cramped living quarters that make personal space a luxury few can afford. Many female soldiers face additional hardships, including exhaustion from extended hours and responsibilities beyond their training, such as tending to crops to supplement their inadequate food supply. This daily routine is a relentless test of endurance, leaving these women little time or energy to recover, let alone enjoy any semblance of personal freedom. Despite these conditions, they are expected to perform and remain loyal to the regime, enduring hardships that seem unimaginable to those outside North Korea. Kim Jong Un's pleasure squads, a dark legacy of control and exploitation. Hidden behind the strict facade of North Korea's barracks lies an even grimmer reality: Kim Jong Un's infamous pleasure squads. Originally formed by Kim Il-sung, North Korea's founding leader, these squads became a long-standing institution under Kim Jong-il's rule. Despite being temporarily disbanded following Kim Jong-il's death in 2011, the squads resurfaced in 2015 under Kim Jong-un's command, highlighting how deeply entrenched this exploitative system remains in North Korean society. These squads operate far beyond the traditional notions of service, revealing a disturbing level of control the regime exerts over women, reducing them to mere instruments for the elite's satisfaction. For the women selected, it is a fate that profoundly limits their autonomy and defines their lives. Reports estimate that up to 2,000 young women comprise these squads, each chosen according to rigid standards, including a height restriction of 165 centimeters or less, possibly intended to avoid visually overshadowing Kim Jong Un himself, a figure whose presence demands constant reverence. The squads are split into 3 specialized groups, each with a particular purpose. The Satisfaction Team reportedly provides intimate services for Kim Jong Un and the highest-ranking generals, while the Happiness Team offers massages and a comforting presence for the top brass. Lastly, the third team is trained to perform traditional music and dance at official gatherings, adding an air of entertainment to these exclusive circles. These women typically serve for around a decade, during which they often live within the secluded areas of the leader's residence, cut off from the outside world, their lives entirely dedicated to fulfilling these assigned roles. Once their tenure in the squad ends, many of these women face arranged marriages to military officers, a practice overseen by the state to integrate them back into society in a controlled manner. These women receive a so-called compensation package that reportedly includes $44,000, along with household appliances, a minimal reward considering the years of constrained service they've endured. This transition is carefully designed by the regime, aiming to make the years of sacrifice appear as an honorable duty while obscuring the exploitation endured. By reviving the squads, Kim Jong Un perpetuates a disturbing legacy of objectification and control, showing how deeply the regime's influence intrudes into the personal lives of its citizens, especially its women, in ways unimaginable to outsiders. The existence of these squads casts a stark light on the broader reality of life in North Korea, where personal freedom is all but erased, and individual aspirations are tightly controlled by the state. This hidden aspect of North Korean society underscores a system in which women are systematically exploited under the guise of loyalty, showcasing the extreme lengths the regime goes to maintain power and loyalty. It reveals the ruthlessness behind North Korea's rigid hierarchy and the chilling disregard for basic human dignity, leaving little hope for change within its closed borders. For the rest of the world, these stories serve as haunting reminders of the sacrifices endured by those trapped within a deeply oppressive system, where escape or resistance is nearly impossible. Labor and domestic duties, the double burden on female soldiers in North Korea. For women in North Korea's military, the role of soldier extends far beyond combat training and drills. Alongside rigorous military duties, these women are expected to perform physically demanding labor tasks, from construction projects to agricultural work and heavy lifting. Leaked footage and testimonials from defectors depict scenes of these female soldiers toiling in fields, clearing land, carrying stones, and hauling firewood with little to no proper tools or support. The intensity of this labor often mirrors that required of their male counterparts, yet women receive no accommodations to ease their workload, leaving them to endure the same hardships without any relief. This level of unrelenting labor underscores the rigid expectations placed on North Korean female soldiers, who are viewed as essential contributors to the military's goals and self-sufficiency. Yet, even when their labor-intensive duties conclude, female soldiers often face an additional burden that their male peers are exempt from domestic responsibilities. These women are frequently labeled as cooking pot lid drivers, a term that reflects their role in managing daily tasks such as cooking, cleaning, and maintaining barracks for the entire unit. Each day only ends after they've ensured that meals are prepared and the barracks are spotless, often pushing them to exhaustion before another grueling day dawns. This dual expectation to fulfill both soldierly duties and traditional domestic roles leaves these women with barely any time to rest or recuperate. This double burden not only heightens physical fatigue, but also adds immense emotional stress, as female soldiers must navigate an unending cycle of physical labor and domestic chores. The strain from balancing these demands can result in long-term health issues, as well as a profound sense of isolation, as they are forced to meet expectations that are disproportionate to those placed on their male counterparts. Many women feel trapped in an environment where they're not only expected to serve their country, but also to fulfill traditional roles, highlighting the oppressive nature of the regime's gender expectations. Ultimately, the relentless pace and expectations create a grueling lifestyle that few outside of North Korea could ever imagine, showing the extreme sacrifices North Korean women must make in service to their country. The hierarchical challenges and abuse of power faced by female soldiers in North Korea. North Korea's military hierarchy, steeped in strict authority and control, presents daunting challenges for female soldiers, many of whom come from economically and socially disadvantaged backgrounds. According to defectors, women are frequently assigned to labor brigades, performing strenuous tasks in construction and agriculture. These duties, often carried out in insecure and harsh conditions, take a severe toll on their physical well-being. Beyond the demands of labor, high-ranking officers occasionally misuse their power, requiring female soldiers to stay behind for extra duties framed as concerns for their well-being. These so-called additional tasks, however, can serve as a cover for inappropriate advances, leaving the women in an uncomfortable and vulnerable position, unable to voice their objections openly. For the female soldiers, Speaking up about such abuses is fraught with risk. Complaining or reporting incidents can lead to severe backlash, jeopardizing not only their safety, but also their chances of joining the Korean Workers' Party, a critical institution that dictates career growth, social status, and opportunities in North Korean society. Without party affiliation, women face lifelong professional limitations, often relegated to roles with minimal social standing and restricted access to essential resources. This fear of reprisal and lifelong exclusion from the party creates an environment where silence seems to be the only safe option, even if it means enduring ongoing harassment. The reality of state-arranged marriages after military service for North Korean women. After years of grueling military service, many North Korean female soldiers are confronted with the government's system of state-arranged marriages, a practice that strips away their autonomy. These unions are typically organized by the regime, pairing former soldiers with men who are deemed politically loyal and ideologically aligned with the state. This practice is steeped in North Korea's deeply rooted patriarchal values, ensuring that even after their military duty ends, women remain under the state's influence. For these women, marriage is less about personal choice and more an extension of their obligations to the regime, a stark reminder of North Korea's pervasive control over individual lives. In these state-arranged unions, loyalty to the regime remains the priority, as the government uses marriage to cement alliances and maintain strict adherence to North Korea's rigid social codes. This practice also serves as a strategic measure to cultivate a population that embodies the regime's ideals, reinforcing societal norms that prioritize loyalty over individual desires. The state's propaganda frequently frames these marriages as noble contributions to national unity, painting them as a vital aspect of upholding patriotic duty. However, for many female soldiers, these marriages represent yet another encroachment on their personal freedom, effectively stifling their ability to pursue a life of their choosing. The reality of these state-directed unions is a sobering reminder of the regime's far-reaching influence, leaving little room for personal aspirations or self-determination. Even beyond their military years, these women remain tethered to state mandates that dictate not only their public roles, but also their most intimate relationships. In a society that values conformity over personal agency, this form of control underscores the broader sacrifices expected of North Korean citizens, especially women, whose lives are meticulously shaped to fit the state's vision. Gender equality and propaganda versus reality for North Korean women. North Korea's propaganda often portrays an image of gender equality, with women marching alongside male soldiers and participating in military drills. The state claims that around 40% of its armed forces are women, projecting an image of a progressive society that values female contributions. This carefully crafted narrative is meant to present North Korea as a unified, strong, and forward-thinking nation to both domestic and international audiences. However, accounts from defectors paint a starkly different picture. The concept of equality in the military is largely an illusion, concealing the harsh conditions that female soldiers face daily. Many endure grueling physical tasks, restricted freedoms, and in some cases, exploitation by their superiors. While the regime presents women in uniform as symbols of empowerment, these images hide the reality of exhaustion, sacrifice, and mistreatment that contradict the state's idealized message of unity and strength. Beauty standards and government-controlled personal expression in North Korea. In North Korea, personal expression, especially through beauty and grooming, is tightly regulated by the state, underscoring the regime's pervasive control over daily life. Women's options for cosmetics, nail polish, and other beauty products are limited, as they must adhere to conservative styles that align with socialist values. For instance, red lipstick, seen as overly bold and provocative, is strictly forbidden. Despite these stringent restrictions, North Korean women have found subtle ways to express their individuality, often relying on the underground market to obtain smuggled beauty products. The act of purchasing and wearing these prohibited cosmetics, though seemingly minor, is a quiet form of defiance against the oppressive standards they are expected to follow. For many women, these small acts of self-expression offer a glimpse of personal freedom, a way to affirm their identity under the constant surveillance of the state. Mandatory military service and the toll on North Korean women. In 2015, North Korea introduced a law mandating that all women over the age of 17 serve at least 7 years in the military, a response to manpower shortages due to a declining birth rate and population losses during the 1994 to 1998 famine. Today, women account for over 10% of North Korea's military, contributing to an armed force exceeding 1.2 million personnel, making it one of the largest in the world. Yet this compulsory service places a heavy physical and emotional burden on women, who are expected to fulfill their military roles while still handling traditional domestic duties. This mandatory service policy affects not only the women directly involved, but also disrupts the fabric of North Korean society. With so many women conscripted, families often rely on elderly relatives or younger children to manage household responsibilities, further straining family dynamics. The demands of military life frequently result in lasting physical and emotional impacts as these women navigate the pressures of being soldiers, caretakers, and in some cases future mothers, all without adequate support or resources to ensure their well-being. The hidden reality, control beyond the facade. North Korea's portrayal of gender equality within its military is a carefully crafted illusion meant to project a sense of unity and strength to its people and the world. However, beneath this glossy propaganda lies a stark reality where female soldiers face relentless hardships, limited freedoms, and, at times, exploitation from superiors. Through mandatory military service, state-arranged marriages, and strict beauty regulations, North Korea maintains rigid control over its women, restricting their independence and silencing their voices. By revealing these hidden layers of life in North Korea, we gain a clearer understanding of the intense challenges women endure in one of the world's most isolated countries. If today's insight into North Korean life moved you, please give this video a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more untold stories from around the world. Let us know in the comments which country you'd like us to explore next. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.